Hey everybody, it's Dr. Will here, and of course that's Hope the Antelope. And today we're going to talk about validity and how to show it in your dissertation. In your dissertation, you will need to showcase the quality of the instrument you are using to collect your data. Reliability and validity are two aspects that you're going to be required to address in this regard. Reliability. Is your instrument reliable in the sense that it consistently produces the same readings when measuring the same thing over and over? Things like the Cronbach alpha will help you determine that. Validity. Is your instrument valid in the sense that it actually measures what it claims to measure? It is possible, for example, that an instrument claims to report someone's stress level when in actuality, it's actually reporting a person's anxiety level. When psychometric instrument creators go through and create their instruments, they have to go through all sorts of convolutions and contortions to show really that they're getting after what they say they're getting after in reporting. Now, you as a doctoral learner and doctoral candidate have to showcase to your committee that you know how to pick an instrument and you know how to check that it is indeed valid for what it is you're trying to go after and collect. Hence the whole discussion in the dissertation about your instrument's validity. There are different kinds of validity you can showcase to prove that your instrument is truly representing what it claims to represent. In this video, I'm focusing on construct validity, as that's the one that I used primarily, and it recently came up in a Grand Canyon University doctoral students forum in how to find evidence of it. So I thought, let's put the video together and show this. Construct validity analyzes the theoretical relationship between the instrument's constructs. Those are those variables and the relations that are emerging through the instrument. It's the relationship between those and then the empirical relationships that the data is showing exist, right? Because you have your theoretical way things are linked up, but then there are mathematical models you can apply to the data you're getting. And do they converge and show that indeed they're related? When your instrument creator made their instrument, they probably used something like exploratory factor analysis to generate their models and show the relationships. In confirmatory factor analysis, you can confirm that indeed those models are still emerging when it's applied to your data. In my dissertation, when I first presented my approaches to the methodologist, I listed that I was going to use confirmatory factor analysis. The note I got back in the feedback cycle with my methodologist was that while I was welcome to do that, it was strictly not necessary. That is, I could use the literature to showcase I had construct validity if I could find references out there or citations, papers in peer-reviewed academic journals that had applied CFA or confirmatory factor analysis to my instrument. And if in those papers they reported the scores they were getting in doing the CFA process, if those scores were indicative of a quality instrument that was valid, I could simply report those and use that as my evidence. Well, this let me show, if I did all that, to my committee that I knew I needed to look and be sure I had a valid instrument, and I knew how to use the literature's information to justify and show that indeed I had a valid instrument. Because remember, in the end, as a doctoral candidate, you're really demonstrating to your committee you get what you're supposed to be doing and you can do it. How do you go about finding these papers that have confirmatory factor analysis? One way you can do that is by launching something like Google Scholar. That's what I did. I launched Google Scholar. I typed in the name of my instrument and put it in quotes, and then I used some of the terms that you find in papers that happen to have done confirmatory factor or CFA analysis. These are the terms like I'm adding CFA as a query search term. Another one is RMSEA, which stands for a root mean square error approximation. That score has to be reported as part of CFA. Another term or search query term that I tacked on to the end was CFI, which stood for Comparative Fit Index. By using these as search term key terms, I was able to find papers that talked about my instrument and reported these different aspects of CFA. One of the papers you can see that kept showing up was by Schroeder et al. 2017. Now, if you go to my dissertation and you look on page 138 in my validity section, you'll see that the Schroeder paper is one that I referenced. And I went ahead and reported the CFA scores that Schroeder had reported. So this gave me a way to show my committee that indeed I was paying attention to the validity of my instrument, and I knew how to go find other people who had done CFA and reported the scores that they reported and said that indeed those scores were indicative of having a valid instrument. As a side note to all that, it's important that you choose an instrument that has a lot of play in the current recent literature. Because if a lot of other papers are using it, it's more likely that you're going to find somebody reporting their CFA data. And then you could use that data to your advantage to help justify your usage of the instrument. All right. I hope you found value in my video. If you did, please consider helping me out in return by liking the video, sharing it with others, subscribing to my channel, or even buying me a taco. You can buy me a taco by going to my website at www.drwillpeer.com/taco. Take care and good luck on the remainder of your academic journey. A little every day goes a long way. See you at graduation.